From that moment forward, it was downhill. They went from time I was 11 until I was 15, it was just, we moved every 3 months because bills were never paid. My dad was probably one of the best cabinet builders I ever saw, even to this day. And he made real good money, but they spent it all on crack. You know, most of the drugs all turned into crack, because this was back in the 80s. This was when crack hit real hard. And so they would do the other stuff, but it was mainly crack.
Can you remember the first time you saw someone smoking crack, and how did it make you feel as a kid?
I think by the time I saw somebody smoking crack, I was already kind of numb to the whole drug addiction situation. Because even after, because I saw my uncle first shooting drugs in the bathroom right next to me. And then from that moment forward, you know, it wasn't nothing hid from me anymore anyway. They do everything right in front of me. Me and my brother Danny, I got a brother that's a year and 3 months older than me. Everything was done right in front of us. By the time I was 14, when I was 13, we were smoking weed and drinking with our families. By the time I was 15, I smoked crack with my family. Until I was 15, like I said, we'd move every 3 months because bills wasn't paid. We'd move from one house to the next house whenever they cut our lights off at the pole, or they put a lock on our water meter and we can't get it up, because every house we move into, they can't pay the bills, so they cut the utilities off. I learned at a young age how to cut the utilities back on myself. So we turn the electricity on, or we turn the water on, or the gas, or whatever the case may be. And then the utility company would end up coming out and either taking the meter or cutting us from the electricity pole. Then we'd have to move to another house.
Okay, so where were you guys living at?
South Jackson, right here in this area.
So you're basically South Jackson through and through.
This is where I'm from, right? That's right.
What was South Jackson like at that time in the early 90s?
When I was younger, man, it was, I think when I was younger, it was beginning the decline. When I say beginning the decline, we didn't have all the infrastructure problems. We didn't have all those problems back then. You know what I mean? We had good water lines, good sewer lines. And I just remember that because now I own a little plumbing business, and everybody across the country sees what's going on with the Jackson infrastructure when it comes to water lines and stuff. And we never experienced that stuff, right? There was a lot more white people lived in Jackson back then. This was about when the white flight stuff started happening. We started having more black people come in from West Jackson and stuff and move into South Jackson, and you had a bunch of the richer, I guess people that think they're higher stature white people, if that makes sense, vacating and moving to Rankin and Madison County. And so the demographics started really changing big time whenever I was a kid. And, we moved from South Jackson to West Jackson to North Jackson. I've lived in hoods and trailer parks all my life. So I didn't really pay attention to the demographic change because I was right there with my black and brown brothers. You know what I mean?
What was that like, being one of the only white families at a time where most of the white families were leaving? I'm pretty sure you were around nothing but black and brown people.
It was life. It wasn't any different. You know what I mean? So when I was coming up, all my partners and all my brothers and homeboys and stuff, whether they be black, brown, white, we didn't look at each other's skin color. None of us, ever. We never looked at skin color. We never looked at, that didn't mean nothing to us. You know what I mean? We were homeboys. We all live in the same area, and when we're kids, we playing together, we're growing up together. And you didn't think, the whole black and white thing just never even entered our minds.